So, on last episode, we talked about the restart cycle. The way a rough night can turn into, I'm starting over tomorrow, or after this weekend, or after this party, I'm done. I'm going to eat clean again. And I get it because I've said versions of that myself. It feels hopeful. It feels clean, like you can close a tab and open a new one. But we ended on an idea that can feel uncomfortable at first. And today, I want to slow it down because if it actually lands for you, it changes the whole way you approach weight, cravings, and those moments where you feel like you mess it up. What if nothing is wrong with you? Not nothing needs to be changed, not just ignore my health. I mean, something way more practical than that. What if your body isn't broken? It's responding to what it's been living through. Let me start with a real life moment. It's late, the house is finally quiet, and you're finally off from work. You're driving home after a weekend where things got a little off. You ate more than you planned. You drank more than you planned. Maybe you barely ate all day and then it hit hard at night. And you can feel this familiar presence and pressure in your chest like, here we go again. And then your mind starts negotiating. The shame starts warming up and you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to be different. And you mean it this time. You're not playing games. You want your life back. You want to feel steady again. Then tomorrow shows up and it's not a clean slate. It's the same job, same stress, same short sleep, same text, same responsibilities, same body that's been trying to keep you functioning all these years. And if you're stuck in this for a while, the thought that sneaks up is usually not about food first, it's personal. Why can't I keep it together? Why do I keep repeating this? Why does it feel easier for everybody else? So here's the shift I want to offer today. We stop treating your body like it's your enemy. We start treating it like a system that's giving you information constantly. Because the human body isn't sitting around thinking, how can I ruin your plans? It's doing what it was designed to do, adjust to whatever it thinks is happening around you. When life feels stable, the body calms down. When life feels chaotic, the body gets protective. This isn't drama, this is just survival wiring. Think of it this way, your body is more like a thermostat than a judge. A judge gives you a verdict. A thermostat responds to the room. If a room gets cold, it turns on the heat. If the room gets hot, it kicks the air on. It's not mad at you, it's not moral, it's not keeping score, it just responds. Your hunger, your cravings, your fatigue, even weight changes, those are part of the system. They're signals. They are not a report card on your character. Now let's get really practical because I don't want this to stay in a nice idea territory. I want you to hear some patterns and think, oh, that's me. One of the biggest patterns is stress. When stress stays high for a long time, your body shifts. Cortisol goes up. Cortisol isn't some evil hormone, it's normal. Everybody has it. It helps you wake up, problem solve, push you through hard aspects of life. The issue is when life never gives you that real off switch. When cortisol stays elevated, appetite tends to change, cravings change, sleep tends to get lighter, and once your sleep is off, hunger gets louder. Two hunger hormones that matter here are ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is one of the signals that ramps up hunger. Leptin is one of the signals that helps your brain register. I'm good. I'm satisfied. When you don't sleep enough, ghrelin tends to rise and leptin tends to work less effectively. In plain language, you feel hungrier and it takes more food to feel satisfied. That's not a discipline issue. That's your body responding to sleep debt. Another pattern I see all the time is what I call delayed fuel. This is the person who's responsible and busy and keeps pushing off their life. For work, for example, coffee in the morning, maybe sometimes small, that doesn't really count as a meal. Then it's meetings, errands, kids, deadlines. I'll eat after I finish this. And this turns into three more things. Lunch gets pushed late, or lunch turns into random bites or snacks that don't actually stabilize you. By the time evening hits, your body isn't confused about what happened, it's way behind. And here's the part people miss: your brain is a fuel hungry organ. When it's running low, it starts asking for quick energy. Not a salad you chew for 20 minutes, quick energy, fast comfort, the stuff that feels like relief. So people tell me, I feel fine all day, and then at night I lose it. You're not fine all day. You're powered by momentum all day. And at night, when the noise finally drops, your body finally gets a chance to speak. Then there's emotional overload. And I want to be careful with how I say this because the phrase emotional eating can make people feel like they're weak or childish. That's not what this is. Your nervous system has one job: keep you safe. When you're overwhelmed, your brain looks for relief. Some foods give quick relief because they hit reward pathways fast. Your brain learns that connection, not because you're broken, but because your brain is built to remember what calms you down quickly. So when people say, I don't even know why I'm doing this, what they often mean is, I don't understand what my body is responding to. And the moment you shift from self blame to observation, the whole story of your life starts to change. Hunger is the easiest example. Most of us were taught to treat hunger like it's something you're supposed to beat. Delay it, ignore it, outsmart it, just drink water, just stay busy, just power through. Hunger is not a character test. Hunger is your body asking for fuel. If you ignore that request again and again, the signal doesn't politely disappear. It gets louder. And eventually, it stops feeling like a gentle signal and starts feeling like urgency. That urgency is the part people fear. They call it out of control. But it's often the body doing exactly what it's designed to do when it thinks it feels like you're getting underfed or you feel unstable. Fatigue works the same way. People call themselves lazy, but most of the time, fatigue is information. It can be undereating, it can be dehydration, it can be stress that never turns off. And when fatigue stacks long enough, it leaks out sideways. Your patience drop, your mood shifts, you get more reactive. You snap at someone you love over something that wouldn't normally bother you. You find yourself standing in the kitchen, eating something you didn't really want that much, not because you're a mess, but because you're running on empty. Cravings are similar. Sometimes cravings are physical. Protein was low, meals were too spaced out, you're dehydrated, you had a few short nights of sleep. Sometimes cravings are a relief. Your day was heavy. You were on all day at work, and food is the first thing that feels like it's taking care of you. Either way, cravings are rarely random, they are a clue. Now, let me make this relatable in a way that hits a lot of households. Picture a parent with young kids, especially a mom, because this pattern I see everywhere. She's up early, she's handling breakfast, diapers, school stuff, the whole machine. She makes sure that everybody else eats, she makes sure everyone drinks, she's solving problems before she's even fully awake, and she keeps telling herself she'll sit down after she finishes one more thing. But that one more thing never stops. It just keeps moving and moving in her head. So she runs on coffee and her responsibility. She keeps putting herself last, not because she doesn't know any better, but because she feels like everything is so urgent. And she keeps trying to keep the day from falling apart. Then evening comes, the kids are finally winding down or slowing down. Her body finally gets a chance to speak. Her hunger is way through the roof. Cravings are louder. Her patience is thinner. And if she eats in a way she didn't plan, the story in her head becomes, see, I can't do anything consistently. I have too many responsibilities. That's the moment I want you to catch because that isn't failure. Health is really about rhythm. It's about eating regularly, sleeping enough, moving your body, and giving yourself actual rest. When those basics are steady, everything feels easier. When they're off, everything feels harder. That's why people feel like they can do great when life is calm, and then everything falls apart, and then life gets heavy again. It's not that they become a different person, the inputs change, so the outputs change. One example I give to a lot of my patients. So I am Indian. I was born in Philadelphia, but my parents, they grew up in India. And you see in Indian families that women live with their parents. And you don't see women in India gain as much weight after pregnancy because they are taken care of. Their grandparents do all the work, so their cravings stay the same. You see this in a lot of other cultures throughout the world. So that's just one thing I like to have my patients keep in mind because a lot of them went through the same aspect in older generations. So let's talk about weight gain for a second because this is where people carry the deepest shame. When someone gains weight during a season of high stress, short sleep, irregular meals, and constant pressure, the body is not malfunctioning. It's adapting to an environment that feels unstable. In a basic survival sense, the body is more likely to store energy when it senses chaos and unpredictability. That's ancient wiring living in a modern world where the threat isn't a predator. It's constant pressure, constant noise, constant decision making, and not enough recovery. And here's another thing that makes people feel crazy until they understand it. Extreme restriction can backfire for the same reason. When you sharply cut calories or skip meals to get strict, the body reads that as scarcity. Hunger signals rise. Your energy dips. Your body becomes more efficient. That's not betrayal, that's just your body protecting itself. Once you understand that system, the drama starts to leave. You stop making it personal. You stop acting like every craving is a character flaw. You stop treating every hard day as proof you're broken. So, what do you actually do with this information? You do not need a perfect plan every day. You need a better question. Instead of asking yourself, what's wrong with me? You move forward. You ask yourself, what is my body responding to? And I want to make this so simple you can actually use it in life, in every moment. When you feel yourself drifting, when you feel that pull toward the pantry, the drive through, the snack drawer, the late night scrolling, and the snacking combo, pause long enough for a quick signal check, a reality check. You're not interrogating yourself, you're collecting data on yourself. Think through four basics. When you last ate real food, how your sleep has been doing the last couple nights, whether you had enough fluids today, and what your stress levels is right now in this moment. That's it. That's all I want you to focus on. Because once you name the signal, the response becomes calmer. Mindfulness. If you haven't eaten in 6 hours, the answer usually isn't be stronger. The answer is eat. If you slept 5 hours for 3 nights, the answer usually isn't try harder. The answer is protect sleep tonight as best as you can. If you've been running on coffee and forgot water, the answer might literally be water, or what I like to say, fluids, because even your coffee has water. If stress is through the roof, sometimes the best move is to downshift your body for 60 seconds before you decide what you're about to do. That is what mindfulness looks like in real life. Not fancy, not perfect, just noticing what's happening before the pattern takes over. And this is what I mean when I say to a lot of my patients, becoming your own doctor, not diagnosing yourself, not skipping medical care. I mean, becoming literate in your own signals. Your body is telling you the truth all day long, but a lot of us were trained to ignore it until it screams. You start feeding yourself before you're starving. You start protecting sleep before you're completely wrecked. You start noticing stress in your shoulders and jaw before it spills into food or conflict or another night, staying up all night and calling it me time when you're already running on fumes. This isn't dramatic, it's steady, and steady builds trust. One last thing before we close, because I know some of you thinking, okay, I hear you, but the food noise is still loud. That's real. There are gut hormones that help your brain register fullness. One of them is GLP. Your body makes it naturally. Regular meals can support those fullness signals. Protein, fiber, sleep can all support it. And yes, there are a lot of newer medications that can work through the same pathway as well. And we'll talk about them on another episode with balance and honesty, not hype. But the point today is simple. You don't quiet the system of fighting it. You quiet it by giving it steadier inputs so you can feel safe. If you're listening and you're thinking, This makes sense, but I still can't seem to stay consistent. Good. That doesn't mean you failed understanding this message. It means you're ready for the next piece. Because next episode, we're talking about willpower. Most people treat willpower like it's a personality trait. Like some people were born with it and others weren't. That's not what it is. Willpower is more like a phone battery. It drains throughout the day, especially when you're stressed, underfed, and short on sleep. And if you spend it all day on life, you don't have much left at night for good food choices. In episode 3, I'm going to show you why willpower fails in the exact moments you need it the most, and how to build a day that requires less willpower in the first place. For now, keep one thought close. Nothing is wrong with you. Your body is responding. And the moment you stop judging the signal and start reading it, you start stepping out of the cycle. I'll see you in episode 3.